Hey everyone, we have some very exciting news. Myra State Podcast will be having a live show at Dynasty Typewriter in Los Angeles on October 28th at 7:30 p.m. And our special guest is going to be Kelly from Boobies and Newbies. We can't wait!
So we are also going to be doing live stream. So anybody and everybody, go to our website, myworststatepodcast.com for more details. We'll hope to see you soon. Cheers!
There's a good chance we never would have found any of these girls, but all that changed after Shannon Gilbert disappeared.
When a sex worker vanishes in Long Island, authorities would launch a search that led to the discovery of 10 bodies along a desolate stretch of Beachside Highway. Lisk, Long Island's serial killer, is the story of who these victims were and what could have led to their untimely deaths.
All of a sudden the spotlights come on and they found something.
The police now can't keep this under their hats. It becomes national news.
Told through the words of the victims' friends and families, learn about their heartbreaking search for answers.
For 17 months, my daughter Melissa was missing. We had no idea where she was. We didn't know if she was alive or dead.
You'll hear from police, government officials, and journalists about what was done or not done at times to find the killer.
They brought the politicians in, they brought the hookers in, and then things got wild, and what do? You now own the politicians.
Download seasons 1 and 2 of Lisk, Long Island Serial Killer by Mopac Audio, wherever you listen to podcasts.
Welcome to My State. I'm Cassie.
I'm Keegan.
And I'm Christina.
And we have very exciting news.
No big deal.
No big deal. Everybody remain calm. Remain calm. Christina is engaged.
Yes. Yeah, it's been quite a journey, but yeah, we took a vacation to New Orleans last week. Cassie, myself, her husband Chris, and my now fiance Eric. As soon as we got there, it was just a blast. We that first night actually, we made a new friend in New Orleans. We saved a girl who was trying to hide from her bad date, which was brilliant.
I hope she's listening right now.
Yeah.
Oh, I do too. She literally was like, I overheard her saying to someone else, I think so, like one of the bartenders or something. She's like, oh, I'm just waiting for one of the other bartenders to come out and tell her about this bad date. And I was like, I'm like,
your antenna went up immediately.
I was like, oh, hey, we have a
Bad Date podcast.
So tell us everything, dish now, bitch. And she did.
Yeah, she was like, this guy, first of all, like they were supposed to meet that night, and he was like, he did this thing, and I feel like it's become somewhat of a trend because I've seen it on TikTok before. Like, she was a very put together, very like beautiful girl, and so she's there waiting for him, and he's like, tells her he's running late because he has to do this not important errand. Do you know what I mean?
Is this deliberate? Like, is this something, like, is this some kind of...
This might be some sort of new pickup artist bullshit.
That's how it feels to me. Like, this is a pickup artist thing where they're like, make them wait like 10 minutes and let them know that the thing that you're doing isn't even important so that they know their place or something like that.
Exactly.
Like,
that's really what it's coming off as, because I've seen that on TikToks where women are like, yeah, I was waiting there and he told me he had to finish jogging first, or like something that, like, if you schedule a date, like, you don't need to do these mundane fucking errands that are going to make you late. It's such
it either
bullshit.
Feels intentional or like you cannot manage your time, both of which are deal breakers.
Right.
Yeah,
honestly.
honestly.
Like,
this guy showed up an hour late.
I thought it was like an hour and a half.
It might have been. It was definitely over an hour late. And then came in and didn't apologize, like was trying to gaslight her into being like, well, I told you that I had to do this thing or whatever, when she was like,
then why didn't you schedule the date for an hour later?
Yeah.
Or like, why didn't you
different day, anything?
Yeah. Like, God. Oh my God. That really like actually got
Triggered
me.
Yeah.
I
It was like really triggering. So
she's on a real visceral level.
She's telling us about this, and then she's telling us about what it's like to date in New Orleans and everything like that.
And I was like, oh, that's A lot of everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I think that she was saying specifically in that city, it seems like, and probably the same thing that probably happens in like a place like Vegas. That's very tourist centric.
Right.
Yeah,
And-
kind of a party city.
Kind of a party
Yeah.
city. She was like, oh, these like 40 somethings who think that they never have to fucking grow up and are like party boys
Right.
for like their whole life.
Yeah.
Not cute.
Yeah,
No.
it was not. So it was the most beautiful courtyard bar.
Yeah.
It was awesome. We had a great time.
Well, shout out the Will in the Way.
Yes, absolutely. And so then we went back to the hotel. We're feeling loose. We're feeling good. And we're continuing to drink outside on the courtyard. And I've had, a few drinks. And so I proceed
We
to
got
get up.
red wine, Christina.
Oh,
coming
no,
up.
we got whiskey,
Cocktail.
Christina. Cocktail Christina had opinions, had things to
Cocktail
say.
Christina is exactly what this sounds like.
Yeah.
Exactly. And it's just like, I was being as subtle as a fucking brick because I was just like, these men just, all we want to know is that you can show up and be a partner to us and, save up for big purchases.
And you're looking Eric in the eye.
in the eye kind of thing. And he's just like, You're like, and he's like, I actually have to go to the bathroom real quick. And so he goes inside and I'm outside like sipping my cocktail. He comes back out and he just puts the ring box on the table next to me as like a kind of checkmate. Like total, like, I'm like, of course I get proposed to win an argument, and kudos to him.
And honestly, the best.
It feels appropriate.
The best.
Yeah.
The best way.
So I did not think that he had it. I did not think he'd even started thinking about it. He's had it in his sock drawer since July.
You have to know that he was thinking about it because he's brought it up before. Like he was thinking about proposing like way back when we did our live show in Austin.
Yeah.
Which I will say, listen, I'm really happy for you, but I wanted him to do it.
Would it have
at
been
our
a
live
great
show
ending to
in
the
the
live
end of
show?
October? Also selfishly because
Yeah.
I would get to be there.
Yeah.
But I'm super happy for you. The ring is beautiful. I'm
Oh,
so
man,
happy
it's so
for you
blingy.
both. I know. Don't you feel like you're gonna like drive off the road?
I know. I told her, I was like,
Yeah.
now or I tell everybody when they first get engaged, I'm like, you're going to like almost wreck your car.
Yeah.
Too many times.
Yeah, because
Too many times.
the
'Cause
light
it's right
in your
there,
car
and it just hits it.
so
Ooh.
sparkly. Yeah, it's so sparkly. But that's so wonderful, and I love that you guys had such a good trip too.
Yeah,
it was great.
It really was, and it was so cute. He told me afterwards, like he showed me his phone. He had like a couple websites open, like best places in New Orleans to
Oh.
propose and stuff.
No,
That's
But
so precious.
That was the best way.
It
It
really
was the best way. Yeah,
So then
that's
we got.
so precious though that he was thinking about it that much, and like he was probably carrying that ring with him.
Oh yeah,
all over the place.
He said he was so stressed out, like
Yeah.
he was like hugging the bag to his
Yeah.
chest,
Yeah.
and I was wondering why he was being so precious with his,
Luggage,
luggage or whatever. But now I know why.
And then the fact that it came and he was like, oh, it's just, RAM for my giggity gag. And
Yeah,
you're like,
as soon
boop.
as he starts talking about like he told me it was like computer RAM or whatever, and I was like, as soon as he said computer, I was like, boop,
Yep,
brain
brain
off,
shut off completely.
Like, whatever,
Don't care.
don't care. So that's
And in your back of your mind, you're like, oh, so you can afford computer shit.
exactly. I'm like, oh, I wonder how much that fancy fucking computer shit costs.
He's like, you'll never know, bitch.
Exactly. So yeah, I'm really really excited. We're gonna be enjoying being engaged for a while, and
I
then
recommend
we'll go
that.
from there. We'll see how that happens. But yeah, shout out to big shout out to Nicole in New Orleans,
Yeah.
wherever you are.
yes.
You helped my fiance propose that night. You have no idea, so thank you.
Oh, where would we be without Nicole? Amazing.
What other relationship news do we have this week?
I feel like there's a lot going on.
There's a lot going on. So, first of all, Drew Barrymore had Justin Long on her show for like the season 3 like premiere, and it was so sweet because they dated for
they were so cute together.
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot they
dated for 3
Yeah.
years. And so she had him on and she was just like immediately she started like crying and she was just like, you were just such a special person to me. And like I really valued like all of our time together. And they're
so
like it was chaotic, but it was so fun, and like I don't know, it was just really nice to see a couple who, it didn't work out,
Right.
but still genuinely has like such positive feelings and so much like affection
Yeah.
for the other person. Like I think that's so like just love,
healthy,
it just made me feel
mature.
good. Yeah, and it's just like, oh, that's so nice.
They too, both of them seem like both exactly that, mature.
Yeah.
You know, and but yet also very sweet and endearing. You know, like people who
and
can.
they knew it wasn't right because she was saying like at the time they were not as mature and they were you know kind of like on again, off again, breaking up and getting back together. But like sometimes that's how it is. Like I do feel like sometimes you can have such a genuine like love and friendship feeling for someone that you're like, this should work.
Yeah.
Like this should work romantically.
On paper,
and
this
so
makes sense.
You keep trying to make it work because it's like we have fun together. We get along so well. But it's like sometimes it just doesn't, you know?
Yeah.
And like that's okay. But then the other relationship news this week is that there is trouble in paradise for Tom Brady and Gisele.
Ooh,
Have you heard about this?
Not hear
No.
about this.
Well, so they've apparently been like apart for like living apart for like a couple of months because she got really upset because he retired. And she's
and then he went back.
like 6 weeks later, like he retired, and then like 6 weeks after his retirement was
Just
like,
kidding.
I'm back in the game. And so
That's
she's
the second time he's done that, by the way.
Yes.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yes.
that's got to be. She was like, "Are we?
Are you fucking serious?
Yeah,
Oh my
you're,
God.
you're 45. Come on. We
you
have
can
kids.
retire.
Yeah.
You're not injured.
Because you're kind of
you know.
if you're dating somebody like that who has like a high amount of travel involved in their job, a lot of times it's just like a single parent
Yeah.
situation.
Well, and it's a violent sport. Like it's a
Yeah.
dangerous job for a 45-year-old man to keep running around.
Right.
Keep running around with these kids.
you're a target, dude.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
you're a quarterback. You
Yeah.
are always a target.
Yeah.
And, you know, I know there's a lot of rules and things that really protect quarterbacks now, but it's just,
Yeah.
Still, head injuries are head injuries,
That's
and
right.
you never know which one is going to be the one that's going to be
Yeah.
the last one you can take. You know,
Yeah, and I
Absolutely.
really hated. There was this, of course, because it's football, and there's this like bro culture and stuff around football where people were like, Giselle's not being supportive. of him.
Ooh, okay.
And so she came out and kind of like defended herself, where she's just like, look,
which she should not fucking have to do. This is her relationship with her husband and has nothing to do with the sport, really.
Right.
Has everything to do with their fucking relationship.
Right.
Mind your business.
he's gone all the time. He also made her this promise that he was going to retire. She made it very clear that she wanted him to retire. She has, had the kids on her
they've
own.
got enough money.
They've got
you're
their
plenty.
house in Miami is a $17 million house. Like
oh, is that enough?
they they have plenty.
And I'm sure they have help. And so it's probably not even just being a parent, help or not, it's a lot. It's a lot going on, but it's
well,
still.
you just want your partner. You know what I mean?
that's
Like you
right.
just want like you want your kids to have their dad around, and like people were like, well, yeah, like he's really busy during this time, like on the on season, but like off season, he's got 6 months of like he's home for 6 months.
Okay, but
You know what
6
I mean?
months is only 6 months. That's
Right.
still half a year.
And I understand the argument that like for people, for other people, it's like, okay, they're working all the time.
Right.
So they don't have a concentrated 6 months where they don't go to work and they get to just be with their kids.
Yeah, but you get to decide what kind of relationship you want and how much time, quality time is a love language,
Yes.
and it's perhaps like Gisele is like, I've done this for so many years and
It's a
I'm
sacrifice.
ready to have
Yes.
quality time with
Yes.
you.
And she
Yeah.
gave up everything.
Yeah,
She
she
did.
moved, and she said that she's like, I
She gave up
relocated.
everything.
Yeah.
So what
Her
about
career?
him being
Yeah.
because she was making fucking big time
Yes.
fucking money being
Yeah.
a model.
Supermodel
Exactly.
money, like
Supermodel
when
money.
supermodels were still like supermodels.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
So I don't want to fucking hear shit about that because
Yeah.
nobody was pissed off at Tom Brady for her
You're
quitting her
exactly
career.
right.
Yeah, and there was
And I'm sorry, sacrificing her fucking body to have children for this motherfucker right now.
when her body is her job.
Is
too.
her job.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And
I didn't know.
it's like,
I did not know. I felt this way about this.
Yeah. Years and
Visceral.
years too of like just worrying about him.
Of course.
because like of course you're gonna. That's the father of your children. Like you see people get injured all the time. He's been injured.
Of course.
Like I feel for her so much, and People are saying like their friends are like, if he doesn't leave after this season, their marriage is over.
Yeah.
She's like,
I don't
she's
blame her.
done. She's
I don't
just
blame
done.
her.
Yeah.
And
like,
I feel like that's fair, honestly.
It is fair.
You know, you're allowed to have, you know, boundaries. I think, and this is so funny because this is going to tie into my Tainted Love later. And it's that sacrifice that women are often expected
That's right.
to make that is not expected of the man, where the woman gives up the career, she gives up everything to be the domestic engineer of a household.
Yep.
And it's not given enough value. It's not given enough respect. And so she's done it for years, and she's finally like, okay, great, you're retired. We can move on to another chapter of our lives. Like,
and then he's like, yes, love.
yeah, exactly.
Back in it.
Yeah, dude. Honestly, it's having experienced it from the other side, having worked in a corporate position and being in the field, the number of times I've told this story before, but my coworker, my kind of partner in crime at the time, we worked in the field together, and many times you can't understand when people are like, would immediately be like, oh, do you have kids? How old are they? Who's watching them? Who's watching my fucking kids?
My partner.
The person, that I share a life with, like their other parent.
Yeah.
Like, but then I had my coworker. He's got 4 fucking kids under the age of like 10 at the time,
and no one would ask him.
Oh, you do? Oh, that's wow.
Because
That's
it goes
a
without
lot.
saying that your wife is at home, taking care, keeping it down at home.
Nobody
watching your
asks
kids.
him.
No.
Who's watching your kids?
No.
Oh, who are your kids with? Who watches your kids for you? What do you mean? Who watches your fucking kids?
Yeah, I mean, and it's the same way. Like when they're like, "How do you juggle like having a family and being at work?" Nobody asks men that. Nobody asks Tom Brady like, "How do you juggle having kids at home and being a quarterback? Like, how do you do it?"
There's no expectation, and it's funny. I would normally be like, "Wait, somebody's supposed to be watching them." That's,
Oh no!
Wait,
I didn't realize.
Oh shit!
Oh no!
I knew I was forgetting something.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
No, yeah, and it's just I just felt for her so much in that, because I was just like the fact that anybody would have the audacity to come out and say that she wasn't doing enough whenever like she has been supportive of his dreams and his career
and gave up her career
for
to
so
do so
long, to say that like her feeling some kind of way about him going back on a promise he made to her is like, and you do start to feel, I would take that personally, where I'm just like, your feelings for me, your love for me, what I need from you is not as important as whatever validation you're getting
from the football field,
being a football player.
Yeah.
Because why can't you let it go?
Yeah. He's like, prioritizing his career over his family for sure. And she's allowed to say, we've had a back seat for long enough. And whew, boy, that got me heated.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we were talking yesterday at the beach when we were hanging out with Vanessa. She was recommending a book called Invisible Woman. Well, it's all the ways that like the world is built and set up for men, like from everything from car seats to the temperature your office is set at, to medications
Bike
not being tested on women.
Went viral recently.
Yeah.
None of this stuff, everything has been made for men and for the comfort of men, you know, and so like that's why they're all like shoulders when it comes to like a lot of things to do with women's reproductive health and things like that. Yeah, because they're just like, I don't know, why would we put time and energy in
why would we even care about this kind of thing? Yeah, it's like, I mean, go to your OBGYN and get a fucking IUD inserted. They don't even think that it's important enough to give you Tylenol for that stuff, and they're going to put a clamp on your cervix, like a hook thing. And they're like, it's fine. It's like so bad that makes like a lot of people pass out, throw up. I'm getting all kind of heated.
I got more sympathy, I think, from my foot doctor. I got like a cortisone shot, and he was just like, I know, it's fine. I'm so sorry. It just takes a really long time. I mean, I got more sympathy from that than anything I've ever related to.
Yeah.
They just don't have a clue, I don't think.
Yeah.
And that's, I mean, many times I try to have a female doctor. What's funny, and in my experiences between having both male and female gynecologists, I'll be honest with you, my male gynecologists were much more sympathetic. and much more empathetic. And it's exactly the opposite of what I thought it would be. It's every experience I've had with a female gynecologist, and that's my experiences. I'm not saying
not all. Yeah, exactly.
Obviously, that I'm not making a rule here. I'm just saying in general, I made assumptions based on like, I assume a woman doctor, would understand and empathize.
Yeah,
but it was very much more suck it up.
I simply won't. I hear what you're saying. I've never had a male gynecologist, and I simply won't. I just can't mentally get over it. Like, it's not even that I feel like any kind of way about, he's a doctor. Like, I don't feel any kind of way about him like seeing my parts or anything like that. Like that's not it. It's simply that like there is something that I'm just like I can't. I'm like I just don't like it. I don't like it.
You don't have to.
Yeah. I don't like the procedure at all anyways, but at least let it be something like that I can control this small aspect that would make me feel more comfortable with just having a woman.
Yeah. There's that. And then it's also just like, even if you're being sympathetic to me, there is something about like, you cannot understand. Like you just can't. Like you can know everything from like the medical perspective and everything like that. And like, and I appreciate your sympathy, but it's kind of the same thing whenever like Anthony is asking me to describe to him how much pain I'm in like every month. And I appreciate that he cares to try and understand, but there's no amount of me sitting here talking to you about it that is going to convey
what it's
the truth of it, of my like experience. And so I don't know why it like irks me. Like I'm like, I don't want that man telling me what to do about something that he doesn't have to go through. Right. And that like makes me like mad. I think
that's what it boiled down to for me is that having the women gynecologists that I have had have always been much more like, I get through this too. It's not that bad. And I think that every woman's pain is different because the way you describe your cramps is entirely different than the way I experience mine. I think that that's been my experience with the female gynecologists that I've had have been like, we all go through it, bitch, suck it up. It's been that attitude of
that's interesting.
Oh, you're giving birth. Guess what? Women do it every day. It's just very like whereas my male gynecologist, when I had, and now to be fair, I went through a lot more shit with that. But I mean, the man literally came into a surgery that no one was allowed to come into because he had to wear like a full cover up because it was the radiation room that he had to be in, literally rubbing my hair on my head and just being there with me. So empathetic. So like, you're doing great. Like really walking me through it, which was, I've never had a doctor who like really gave that much care and empathy.
But that really sounds like an individual, because, I think that I've had all kinds of like different doctors just in general. And it's like, some people have that real bedside manner that makes them great in that respect as a doctor. And some doctors just don't like, they're just like,
they're very, I've had really very, like, cold and then
both sides.
Yeah. Gosh.
Whew. Well, on that note, who should we fuck, marry, kill?
TV doctors.
Doctors. Okay.
We've done this one before, so let's try not to repeat.
We did House.
We did House, which is always the one that I think of first because I'm like, gotta throw him in there.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And I think we did, who did we do last time?
Maybe we did George Clooney.
That's right. I think you're right.
Yeah.
I am going to go with this is random, but we used to watch this all the time in my house, M.A.S.H.
Oh, yeah.
Back in the day.
That was an everyday after school show. Like that show came on.
I feel like it came on around like 6:30 or 7 or whatever. It was like after the news and before Star Trek Next Generation.
Yes. And you could hear it from the other room. Nah, nah, nah.
Yes.
Yeah, that's the thing about M.A.S.H. is that I'm not sure I've ever seen an entire episode of M.A.S.H., but I've definitely seen like bits and pieces, scenes, because it was in the background in every home
my dad
went into.
Loved that show. And I gotta say, young Alan Alda is so I'm gonna pick Hawkeye from M.A.S.H.
I love it. I love that.
Yeah, I love that too. Well, I didn't watch a ton of like medical drama shows growing up, or medical shows in general. I did watch like House, and I watched Scrubs, which is not a drama; it is fully a comedy. But I'm gonna go with Donald Faison's character in that, Turk.
Turk,
Dr. Turk. Yeah,
nice.
that's a good one.
Well, speaking of childhood memories, I'm going to go with a real blast from the past. Dr. Quinn, Medicine Woman.
I love it. I did watch that. I did watch that show.
Yes.
I watched
the hell out
shit
of
out of that show.
Oh, yeah.
I watched so many of those. Like, you look back on now and you're like, God, what was
like
happening?
Charmed
Yeah,
and shit like that.
Or just like I watched, of course, like Hercules and Xena.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Xena Warrior Princess.
Xena Warrior Princess.
Xena Warrior
Indeed.
Princess was
Yes.
amazing.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
Her new show, by the way, is great too.
ooh, what's she doing now?
It's got nothing to do with Xena or Warrior Princess, but she plays like this kind of detective girl.
Lucy Lawless is
I
amazing.
love her.
Beautiful.
Love her. And
She's
it's
gorgeous,
like takes place
yeah.
in like New Zealand.
Yeah.
It's a really good
nice.
show. It's on
Yeah,
Amazon.
she's
Anyway,
stunning. But okay.
what a random selection.
It really is. Like this is we have options.
Well,
I love Dr.
Hawkeye-
Quinn, but I could never live in that time period.
Yeah, and Hawkeye
oh well, me neither.
was like a womanizer and
Yeah.
yeah,
But do I want to fuck Hawkeye? Yeah.
yeah, he was like a womanizer, but he was like really funny. He had a good sense of humor.
Yeah.
So
And was dealing with a lot of shit. You're in a fucking war.
yeah.
You're in a fucking war.
Yeah. Oh, this is rough.
This is really rough because Turk is funny, and I think he's
loved Carla.
He loved Carla, and I think he's so. I actually think Donald Faison has this like silly quality, and I think he's cute.
And
I
the
think he's
fact
very
that
cute.
he and Zach Braff
Yeah.
are still so close
Oh, yeah.
says a
Yeah.
lot. Like they are such like their bromance
It's very cute,
endearing.
but he is almost too like too man
perfect?
child. No, like because he's almost too silly. Like I'm like it's almost
Oh,
too
right.
silly.
You
where
gotta
I'm
take
just like,
something
Yeah, like
seriously.
I guess he's not a man child. He is a surgeon and he does really love Carla, but he is just like kind of. It's a lot, and I know that that's the nature of that show, which is just kind of like hijinks. But could I be married to it?
He was like that in Clueless too. He seems like he's got a little bit of a hijinks personality.
Yeah, I mean, he's got
Yeah.
golden
He's gonna
retriever
prank you.
energy.
Yeah.
Like it's very like he's just a lot of high energy. He's gonna prank me, and you know how I feel about that. I fucking hate a prank. I hate it. So I don't know about that, but he is such a good man. He's a good man.
But I mean, I remember from the show, it was like Carla constantly had to be the adult in the
exactly.
relationship.
And that would be
I like
me
that.
too. I would end up in that same position. I
I would
know
be
I
furious.
would.
That
Yeah.
would make me so annoyed.
Yes. And so I'm like, and he would make up for it. It always ended up well at the end of the episodes, but I'm just like,
But then Hawkeye is the flirt. So would you rather be
Ooh.
dating the man child or the flirt?
oh.
Yeah. 'Cause
Okay,
it's-
what about Dr. Quinn? Well,
Yeah,
okay.
Dr.
Yeah.
Quinn's really the best option here.
Yeah, she seems like steady. She's
got her
good in a
shit together.
crisis.
Yeah,
Yes.
great in a crisis.
Also, yeah,
Which,
if-
by the way, is only going to be happening every fucking day because you're in the middle of the wild, wild west.
Well, that's the thing. If I would always feel safe with Dr. Quinn
Sure.
because I know that no matter what happens, she could fix me up with no tools and just
Oh,
like
yeah.
a fistful of herbs, and I'd be
the
like, "We're good."
She's like the MacGyver. Of
She
doctors.
totally
Yeah,
is.
yeah, totally. Like she knows how to make like just anything out of like branches from a fir
Yeah.
tree. You know,
Yeah, I think I know what I'm going to do. I think I am going to marry Dr. Quinn
Yeah.
just because I really need a partner. I really need someone that has got a good head on their shoulders,
Yeah.
is like good in a crisis, is ambitious about something, you know. So that really feels good. And then in between like Hawkeye and Turk, I think I'm going to fuck Hawkeye.
yeah.
Yeah. Same.
Yeah.
I'm going to do the exact same
Dude,
thing.
like a flirt, I'm like, okay, yeah, let's get it on
Yes.
for one night. I
We're not
don't
gonna
want to
marry
be
that guy.
married to the flirt.
No.
You know what I mean?
No, well, you don't want to.
And I don't
feel
want to
like
be married to the man child.
You either have to marry Turk because he has enough like good qualities, but you're not going to have a one night stand with Turk. Like he's not that type
No.
of
He's not
guy.
that kind
like,
of guy.
it's
Yeah,
Very
exactly.
clear. So it's like if you choose not to marry him, it's kind of like the only other option. Sorry about
Sorry.
that. You know. And I think I'm going to do the same. There
Yeah.
was something about Dr. Quinn Medicine Woman. I haven't watched it in a long
I
time.
wonder if it holds up.
It's probably pretty problematic.
I'm sure.
I'm certain
sure.
that it is.
Yeah.
Actually,
I just remember the guy that she was with was hot.
yes,
Hot.
he was hot. I remember that as well. But I think that I am going to marry her because also watching that as a kid, as a little girl, there was something very aspirational about
absolutely.
her as a
100%.
protagonist. You know, who like had her shit together and was like the doctor in this town. And like there's something very girl power about that I really liked. So I'm going to marry her. I'm also going to fuck Hawkeye. I mean, I think it would be like groovy sex. Do you know what I mean?
Very hairy.
Yes. Yeah. A little
lot
oily,
of hair.
kind of oily. But funny for one night. You know, there's like a shag carpet and maybe a rotating bed involved, which I'm kind of like on board with. And then Turk, I love him. What a sweet baby angel. But I simply cannot.
Yeah. Yeah. What about you, Cass?
Same. Yeah. Same thing. Same exact thing. I mean, Dr. Quinn. Steady Eddie. She's and smart, probably the best doctor of the bunch.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, when you look at the three of them, I think to myself, like, you know, what I had to do when I left to go record today, like we have a lot of stuff that's like that needs to get done around the house or whatever. And, you know, Eric's like, I'm going to take care of this, this, and this. And it's like, okay, great. And then I'm going to do this and I'll stop on the way home. And it's like, you have to have somebody that you can conquer the world with. The world is hard and you got to have somebody with a good head on their shoulder and reliable. Reliability is the key. And I just don't feel that Turk or Hawkeye would be those reliable partners the same way.
Christina, I feel like what you're saying is that you need somebody who could save up enough money to purchase an engagement.
Precisely.
I got
You got. That's the best proposal story ever.
It's amazing. It really is. Well, we do have a new patron. So I want to give a big patron thank you shout out to Ree. Thank you for joining us over on the Patreon. If you have anything that you would like us to do, any suggestions, please let us know. And we love you so much.
Yeah. Also, shout out to Michelle Dwadi. I know we've given you a shout out before, but we saw you up your pledge and we are so thankful.
Yeah.
Thank you. Because we got a lot of stuff to save up for, so we appreciate it.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
One of those things being our very special live show, which is going to be literally right around the corner before we know it. We're going to be having our show here in Los Angeles at the Dynasty Typewriter on October 28th.
Yep.
Woo, I did it. And if you're not in the Los Angeles area, don't worry. We also have the option for you to listen. We have a live stream, so you can purchase those tickets. Everything's linked through our website. But also, too, again, we want to remind everybody we have a special guest that we are so excited about.
Yes.
Oh, man, Kelly from Boobies and Newbies. Thrilled to have her back as our, opener. And she has a special guest that she's bringing with her from another... I'm trying to think of the name.
Romance podcast?
Thank you.
Yes.
Gosh, I'm like, what are the words that are trying to escape me? A romance podcast as well.
It's Becky Feldman from Too Stupid to Live. Her podcast is reading like bargain romance novels. So like romance paperbacks that she got for like $1, which is just like so funny to me. I think that Kelly is such a great voice. I love following her on TikTok as well. If you're not following Boobies and Newbies on TikTok, you should, because especially if you care about romance books in particular, but also if you're just into the book talk scene.
Yes.
I think she has such good takes on things. Love her. Can't wait to see what she does. I also do want to say that you have a little bit of time left to get your early bird tickets. So early bird tickets, you can save $5 if you get it before the end of September. After that, the ticket price does go up. So rush out and get your tickets before the price goes up.
Awesome. Well, you guys want to take 5 and then we'll come back with stories?
That sounds good. Cool. And we're back. All right. C, kick us off with some stories.
Okay. So he says, so once I matched with this guy who was pretty cute, and I decided to tell him the story of the time I started a riot in Walmart.
Oh. Okay. I'm very curious. This could go many ways.
Nothing more about that. So sorry.
No.
Hold on.
Just random detail at the top.
Okay.
And he's so smitten by my tale of debauchery, he asks if I want to hook up. I don't usually just do hookups with people from Tinder. That's what Grindr is for. But what the hell, right? He walked in my place and we just stared at each other really stupidly. Oh. He looked at the boxes from my roommate moving out and just started reading the box labels while I waited for him to do something not awkward. Once he read every label, he walked into a random room, which only by coincidence happened to be my bedroom, since there were 3 doors in the apartment and all of them were closed.
Can you imagine going into someone's house and just starting like opening doors?
No.
Like, why?
And then he pushed me onto the bed and started kissing me. But almost immediately after we started, he got a violent nosebleed.
Oh no, dripping blood all over you.
It went all over my face, on my shirt, and on my sheets. It went everywhere. And when I went to go get toilet paper, it turned out my roommate had packed it all up and must have moved it already. And there weren't napkins or paper towels either.
Time out.
Thank you.
We've all moved many times. You always save the toilet paper for like the last trip.
And
why would you pack that up first?
And why would you let your roommate take all the fucking toilet paper?
That's so weird.
And you don't have like any
When was the last time you
else
pooped?
in the house.
You don't have a paper towel. You don't have a McDonald's napkin.
Nothing.
Get a regular towel, I guess.
So there's this guy in my apartment. He's just bleeding all over the carpet as I frantically look for something to clog his face with.
At this point, just use the sheet.
Yeah.
You're going to need to get a new
already
sheet.
done.
Anyways, yeah, exactly.
Your
That sheet's
shirt,
done.
anything.
He bled some on my kitchen towels, but decides against using it. And then he went and bled on my shower towel and decided the same thing.
Wait, why are you being finicky about what you can bleed on?
It's these already.
I don't. Chaos.
Luminol. It's going to be everywhere.
It's like a crime scene.
I eventually have to ask him to stand over the sink while he bleeds, but not after there's just a trail of blood all through my apartment. So he finally ends up taking the kitchen towel, like hell I'm ever using that towel again, and he offered to buy me new bed sheets. I agree since I didn't know what else I would sleep on. I had to drive since he was using both hands to deal with his blood.
How is he still bleeding? Is he going to bleed out? Has anyone ever bled out from a nosebleed?
My brother used to have really violent nosebleeds, and it was like seriously, how are you still standing?
I haven't had a nosebleed since I was like 8 years old.
I've never had one.
Really?
Never.
I mean, they're very weird. I wonder what causes them. But like, I used to get them occasionally as a child, but never as an adult. And like, that seems like an excessive amount.
Feels
of
like
blood.
a lot. But just wait.
Isabel used to get them, and they would just she would get clots.
Oh, God.
Yeah, it's really awful.
On the way to the store, he's just pouring out blood like a fountain. Apparently, he gets them all the time. While we were driving there, he told me the story of the time he got a nosebleed so bad that he fell, physically wasn't able to get up, and started vomiting all over himself.
Oh, no.
Apparently, it's normal for nosebleeds to somehow affect motor functions and your ability to digest food.
What? I mean, that makes sense.
Or there's just something deeply wrong with him and undiagnosed. But the whole time I'm just speeding to the store because there isn't much towel left for him to soak in all the blood.
Like, again, that seems like a ton of blood. But also, if you know you get nosebleeds like this, like you're not keeping a travel pack of Kleenex on
That's
you.
right.
Something,
Like,
yeah.
What?
Tampons.
Yeah. So plug it
There
up.
you go.
Plug it up.
And then I get a flat tire.
No.
Okay, no big deal. I know how to switch in my spare, so I'm on the ground while this guy is wringing out his blood towel. He
A blood
honestly
towel.
looks like a psycho murderer covered in blood, grinning while he wrings out a nauseating amount of blood from a dish rag.
Oh, he's wringing it out. Oh, no.
Then he walked over me and asked to help with the tire, and as he offers, he starts dripping blood on me again.
And his hands are all bloody at this point. Like,
Get away from me,
because you
sir.
just wrung out your blood towel.
It gets all over the shirt I had just switched into, just a cheap white V-neck. And since it was obviously stained, I took it off and gave it to him to wipe the blood out of
Now
my
you're
car and bleed
shirtless.
into.
At this point, we're going to the
Imagine
hospital.
if you're driving past these people on the road
They're
and it's like covered in
Just
blood.
wrecked.
I'm trying to work the jack, and this guy decides he still wanted to have sex. What? Since about 30 minutes into replacing
How
the
does
tire,
he have the energy? How does he have the energy? He's just bled out. Like,
if the blood rushes somewhere else, it's like
I have a million questions. This does not feel like the right answer.
the street is fairly abandoned, but we're right under a street light, and his advances were weird as hell. He took off his own shirt, laid on the ground, cuddling against me with his bare skin on the asphalt.
Off of me immediately. What are we gonna just fuck on the side of the road? Get away!
Covered in blood.
covered in your nose blood. It's so disgusting.
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
I wasn't in the mood for it, so I turned it down entirely.
You think?
Eventually, I get the new tire on and we make our way to the store. The whole drive, he was telling me how good I looked shirtless while I didn't say a word. So I asked him to get me a shirt before I go into the store since my shirt was half soaked in his blood.
Okay, so we know that men of all sexuality preferences have the audacity. That's
Yes,
great. Yeah, because
yes.
it's just like,
What?
What about this situation screams sexy to you?
No, yeah.
Or
this
that
is-
I would be turned on by this?
No, I'm icked out. I'm ick. We're soaked in ick, and this can't go any better. Walmart undershirts are like $2, so he agrees to buy me a shirt. He went into the store and came back out with one. Well, then we go back into the store. This guy starts talking about how nervous he was to be there, since apparently he had been kicked out of this Walmart for stripping naked there while high on LSD and opening all their boxes of cereal. Dude, why is this store... Look, this whole story is people like fucking going ham at Walmart. Because I'm like, what is happening?
So many layers.
Opening all their boxes of cereal is such a pissed. Like,
How pissed? If you are you if you work there?
Oh, you're so pissed.
Oh, this
because
is
cereal
awful.
gets everywhere.
So, but I quickly found a pair of sheets, and we get to the checkout line, and he's still freaking out. He thought that if he scanned his credit card, Walmart security would find him and arrest him for what he did last time he was there.
No, they won't.
they
That's
won't.
not how that works.
I remind him that he had already bought something, my shirt, so it shouldn't be a big deal. And then he said, way too loud, "Oh, I stole that t-shirt."
Oh my god! What the fuck is wrong with this guy?
So now I was freaking out too, because it turns out I forgot to remove the sticker. We both rushed the fuck out of the store. I'm tired of trying to convince him to buy me the sheets. The whole fucking reason we went to the store in the first place, so we just left. We
With the
drove.
I hope you bought some toilet paper too.
Right? Why? That's what you went to the store for? Is sheets?
Yeah, not like
That's not
paper
the
towels,
thing.
toilet paper,
Nothing.
napkins.
We drove back in silence, and he started to get another nosebleed.
No.
I stopped the car, asked him to get out, and
Get
drove
out.
away.
I can't even blame him at that point. I can't even blame him.
This is
like, just
like,
get out.
Just this is plenty.
I've had enough.
Just being stripped naked in Walmart, like, woo, opening up some fucking Tony the Tiger all over there. They're great.
If you've ever spilled cereal in your kitchen,
Oh, God,
you
you're
know
finding it
that-
forever.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
are finding it behind the trash can underneath the fridge for like
The rest of your life.
I cannot imagine the entire cereal aisle.
Oh, God. And then he's just like, oh, it's happening again. He's like,
Get
get
the
out.
fuck out of my
Get
car.
out.
I've had enough. I'm already gonna have to have my car detailed because you know that
Honestly.
shit is covered in blood.
His apartment when he gets back.
Oh,
Just
I know he's
everything.
got everything.
also-
Do you know getting blood out of like
Anything.
your typical like beige
Is so
carpet?
hard. Oh God, it's so hard. And then like also things like towels and sheets are actually not inexpensive. It's one of those like adult items that you're like, why do sheets cost so much money? You know what I mean?
Right,
So I'm like,
yeah,
it
you
is
are
true.
having to replace all of your sheets, your bath towels, your kitchen towels. Like,
I have
Everything.
a question. You only have one set of sheets?
That
well,
no, yeah.
it's a man in his like what is
But
probably
it probably
like,
doesn't have toilet
feels
paper.
early 20s.
it feels early 20s to me. Absolutely. Like, cause I'm just like, yes, you need to, cause you should be changing your sheets often enough. You should have like at least 2 sets of sheets,
Yeah. Right.
probably 3 sets of sheets.
Yeah.
Right?
And that's
Like,
something I feel like, you know, we get into in our 30s, you know, but yeah. Now he's got
so funny. Oh my God.
Oh, I stole that shirt.
Whoa.
Jeez,
my
well,
God.
now we got to get the fuck out.
wrong with you?
What is wrong?
But also, you know what? Maybe we should have known from the beginning. If the thing that was like, hey, I started this riot in a Walmart one time made you be like, I'd love to hook up.
I should go. I should go.
Let's go bang.
Start a, going. And if you had started a riot at a Walmart, why would you go back?
Yeah.
And if
Is
you've
there
also
nowhere
like
else to
stripped
shop?
naked in a Walmart.
Yeah, you can't go to a Target. Like, is there nowhere else to shop in your like town?
Could be
I have
that.
so many questions. Okay. Here's a twist. I was her worst date.
Oh,
I love
excellent.
When I was 17, I finally got the nerve to ask out a girl from my class. Jessica was a popular volleyball and basketball player, very pretty. We could have gone to a movie, bowling, or something ordinary, but I tried to make it interesting. I think that is why she said yes to a quiet, shy guy. My plan was to take her snowmobiling up around Mount Sopris? I don't know what that is. Near my house. Just the two of us. What could go wrong? It was a lot could go wrong. You're in the
so
mountains.
many. Yeah, snowmobiles.
The list started spinning in my head. Just shooting out ideas.
Also, it's cold. You know?
Exactly.
It was another amazingly beautiful sunny day near Aspen, Colorado. Once her dad dropped her off, the two of us jumped in my truck and headed towards the mountain, snowmobile in tow. When some people get nervous, they talk too much. That is definitely not me. I get really quiet.
Oh,
It's the worst.
silently driving into the woods.
Into the snow-capped mountains. I just listened to a You're Wrong About episode about the Donner Party.
Yeah.
So I'm like,
no.
I'm going to stay out of the snow-capped mountains. We're good. Plus, this wasn't just our first date. It was my first date ever.
Oh, baby.
Now you know why I chose snowmobiling, the loud engine. We unloaded the truck and hit the trail. I can't believe my luck. The girl I had a secret crush on had her arms wrapped around me and was grinning from ear to ear.
That is actually there you go.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they've got to
Big
hold
payoff.
on to you.
Yes. Best idea
And then I
ever.
ran out of gas in the middle of nowhere. What?
Until it wasn't.
Oh, no.
About 5 miles up, I was showing off, went off trail into deep powder and got us stuck.
Oh.
Not just a little stuck.
Oh, no.
It was a digging, lifting, and cussing for an hour kind of stuck.
Oh, now we
shit.
got to do manual
No,
labor.
yeah, I'm cold.
And
Which, I get it. I don't know. They live in Colorado. Maybe this is their thing. But, I can have fun in the snow. But if I get even a little bit...
minor inconvenience.
Yes.
Wet,
oh, God.
cold, anything.
I'm so mad.
Yep.
Immediately.
Yep.
Immediately
Hate it.
angry. Yeah. I wasn't prepared for this. This wasn't the first kiss by Thomas Lake that I had imagined. This was taking a girl miles into the wilderness by ourselves and then telling her we have to walk out with the sun going down soon.
Oh, no.
Oh, shit.
Luckily, there are no wolves in the wild in Colorado. It took us nearly 2
Wolves
hours.
is it? That's the only
thing you're worried about? I feel like there's other stuff. There's definitely bears in Colorado. Yeah.
Yeah, there's
Isn't it
those
on their-
humans that hunt humans. I've seen too many shows like that.
Yeah. It took us nearly 2 hours of walking to get back to the truck. Most of that time spent in silence.
Yeah.
I couldn't think of anything to say besides, I'm really sorry. Poor baby. They just feel so bad for him.
Snowmobile is just somewhere
Yes,
on a mountain.
Just somewhere
Oh my
off
God.
trail. Good luck finding it again. After that, I didn't have the courage to ask her out again, but I learned a lesson. Looking back, what I learned that day had nothing to do with snowmobiles. I learned that it doesn't matter if everything goes wrong. It only matters how you react to it. Challenges can bring us closer if we handle them well. Who knows? That could have been a How I Met Your Mother story if I had laughed it off and taken the time to get to know her.
Yeah. Aw.
yeah.
It's a good moral to the end of that
like
story.
that.
This is how we learn, you don't have to plan the most elaborate date or anything.
Right.
It's exactly right. It's down to the connection that you have.
And keeping that good energy. But this was his first date. He was 17. Poor baby. And genuinely, maybe not the best idea in hindsight, but it's a 17-year-old to actually put forth an idea, had an idea of something they wanted to do and put the effort in. And I'm like,
Right.
that's actually so cute. It's so cute.
Okay. So it was a blind date set up by my boss, of all people.
No. Immediately no, right?
Right?
I don't
want my boss setting me up.
I
with
don't. And
anybody.
I like my boss. And I'm
Same.
still I
Yeah.
would rather you not set me up on a
I
date.
That's a hard no, because then you
It's a
feel
weird mix.
I feel like, why are they setting you up
Yeah.
on this date? And if it goes poorly, is that going to
Yeah.
affect my future here at this
Right.
Yes, 'cause,
company? Is
how-
this your friend of yours?
Exactly.
Or
Yeah.
How close are they?
Yeah.
That would
Yeah.
really determine it for me. If it was just oh, this is a friend of a friend of a friend or something, then I'd be like, okay. But if it's
A
your
close
friend's
friend?
son,
Oh,
then
no.
No. From the moment I sat down and his first comment was about my great boobs, I knew I was in for a doozy.
Nope.
It went downhill from there fast. He was arrogant, sexist, rude, and loud, made blatant sexual remarks to the server upon ordering drinks, bragged about his salary and sports card, made innuendo about getting me in bed later so loud basically that the couple next to us could even hear him talking about it.
Ew.
Just a couple just complete asshole of epic proportions within the first 10 minutes.
I feel like you haven't sunk enough in at that point. You could just leave. Like I haven't even ordered my food yet, probably. I'll just finish my glass of wine and get out of here.
I suffered just long enough to give my order to our very sweet, sexually harassed server.
Oh, no.
Which just happened to be the most expensive thing on the menu by far, with a few sides, which were a la carte and salad. Shoot, I think I would like another glass of wine. And what the hell? Let's just throw in a delicious glass of Macallan 18 at a $45 a pop for each of us so we can toast.
Yeah.
Romeo here is rich. I think I even know what I'll have for dessert.
Right. Like if you're going to come in hot like that and, you know, you're going to be this like chauvinist, guess what? If you want
back.
If you want traditional gender roles.
Oh, here we go.
Well, here we go.
Pop off.
I guess you're going to pay for every single thing on this date.
Yep.
As he finally shut up and sat there speechless, I waited about 5 minutes and smiled as I excused myself to the ladies' room, where I walked right past the entrance and without a second glance headed straight for the back door.
Oh my God. She ordered everything and then left. Oh.
I beelined for my car, peeled out of there like I
move.
was Duke of Hazzard.
Also, though, very brave because, again, this is someone that your boss set you up with.
I mean,
It's going to make for an awkward Monday morning.
Yeah. And was home enjoying a glass of wine with a bowl of cheese popcorn balanced on my knee, happily soaking in a bubble bath 15 minutes later, which is about the time I received a phone call from Don Juan. Unfortunately, I can't tell you what Casanova had to say that night as I deleted the voicemail without even listening.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
But I'm betting he had at least two choice words for me, and they weren't happy birthday.
Oh, wow.
However, I did stop by that restaurant on my way home from work the next day to make sure that our server received a gracious tip, as I figured Harvey Weinstein had probably not compensated her properly for the verbal molestation. She was very appreciative and thanked me with a surprising recap of the rest of the evening.
Ooh.
It seems that my potential suitor was rather unamused by my disappearing act and was so disgruntled that when presented with the bill, he stood up, screamed in outrage, and proceeded to throw what can only be described as a full-blown Mel Gibson.
Oh, wow.
Hate-spewing temper tantrum, complete with red face, clenched fists, and an impetuous kick to the chair he'd been sitting in.
Okay.
Breaking it into several pieces and unfortunately scaring the shit out of both the staff and guests. Lucky for Jackass, the restaurant's manager was the nicest guy on the planet, and when given the option between calling the police or paying for the damage, he forked over an additional $100 for the chair.
Wow.
As I handed our server a gracious tip on my way out, I smiled to myself. Some may say that diamonds are a girl's best friend, but I can assure you, karma is priceless.
Jeez.
Or at least worth $417, including the chair. Oh, and my boss never mentioned a word.
No, I mean, we get so many of these stories where I'm like,
don't know how to act
do
right.
do you not know the person you're setting me up with?
Right.
Or do you think that
What do you think
would
of
be
me?
what do you think of me? Yeah,
What do you
like I'm
think
like,
of me?
whoa. Ooh. Because clearly, if
Right.
he revealed himself very quickly. It was in the first 10 minutes of getting there that he was already spewing shit. So it's who he
Correct.
is. It's not
who
like
he is.
hidden.
That's one of the things I saw a TikTok, and I think we got tagged in it, where it was like 3 questions you should ask your date. And the first one was like, tell me who your best friend is and just describe them to me. Because
That's
that ability to be able to, like, it doesn't matter who it is, but if it's your best friend, you should be able to describe qualities about
right.
them.
Why you like them.
Exactly.
Yes. Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's something like that, I think is really important, because obviously that guy doesn't know that guy at all, was just like an acquaintance or something. I don't know. Or it's making me side eye the boss.
100%.
Because I'm like, is this somebody you hang out with? Because if so,
in fact, I actually want my boss to say something. Like I need him to qualify the nonsense.
yeah,
Yeah.
I need him to be like, oh my God, I just heard about what happened. I did not.
Never expected that.
Yes.
Or whatever. Yeah, but that's why you should never let a coworker, boss, somebody you work with,
No.
Well, I'm not going to lie to you. Doing this podcast really makes me feel like blind dates in general are having someone setting you up at all.
It's a friendship ruiner, man. I'll tell you what.
I guess big picture, my thing is, if you have somebody that you really think is great for me, have a party. Invite us both.
Yes.
That's better.
Or like a dinner, like a group dinner where like it's not just like
the pressure of two people blind dating.
Yeah, like invite us with like a bunch of other people or something. Yes, I agree.
Like, oh, we have a group outing and I have a friend who needs a second. We're going to go play putt-putt. I don't know.
Yeah, let me decide if I want to be one-on-one with this person. Like, before you force me into a situation where I have to be with them alone. Yikes.
And also, too, then you're also... as the boss or whomever, you kind of have a little ownership of what happens. And if you see shit go south, you can be like, absolutely not on my fucking watch.
Yes,
right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We got one of those. Remember before we had one? I think it was also a boss who set up somebody, and then she was like, "I need to order all of this." It was like a barbecue place.
Oh,
and
right.
They did go out as a group, and in front of everyone, she's like, "I'd like to order a 4-piece family meal to take home to my kids."
Yes.
To my kids. Yes. That's
and then
great.
he was like, "Yeah, no, I'm not fucking paying for that."
Yeah.
Yeah. And so,
oh my God, that's right.
And that was in front of
like
of
a group.
everybody. Yeah.
Oof. And she was like, I was told that you're my date for the night. He's like, no. You were told wrong, ma'am.
Misinformation.
So much of that going around lately. I don't know.
Exactly.
A 4-piece meal for my family.
You guys want to take 5 and then we'll come back with the Tainted Love?
Sounds good.
All right.
Dramatic pause. A dramatic pause says something without saying anything at all. Dramatic pause is a go-to for podcasters, presidents, and radio voiceovers. It makes you look really smart, even if you're not. Feet deserve a go-to like that. Like Hey Dude shoes. Light, comfy, good to go to.
Football is back, and BetMGM is inviting new customers to join the huddle and enjoy the action like never before. Sign up today using bonus code CHAMPION, and your first wager is risk-free up to $1,000. Visit BetMGM.com for terms and conditions. 21 years of age or older to wager. Virginia only. New customer offer. All promotions are subject to qualification and eligibility requirements. Rewards issued as non-withdrawable free bets or site credit. Free bets expire 7 days from issuance. Please gamble responsibly. Gambling problem? Call 1-888-532-3500.
And we're back.
Okay. So I got this Tainted Love by watching a Dateline, and I was like, this is so much. I have so many opinions about this. And then I got lucky and found a really in-depth article from D Magazine about it called How Not to Get Away with Murder. BBC had some stories about it. So yeah, I'm going to tell you guys the story of Nancy Shore. So Frank Howard met Nancy Shore at church in San Marcos, Texas, and they were friends first. She attended his wedding in a first marriage that would end shortly after, like a college first sweethearts, kind of and it ended shortly
Starter
after.
Marriage.
Yeah, exactly.
Got it. Yeah.
Nancy had a beautiful voice and violet eyes, and it wasn't long until they were married by his father in 1983. They moved to Carrollton, a suburb of Dallas, in a really good school district with their 3 kids to settle in for their idyllic life. Now, Frank was a successful accountant with over 500 clients, and Nancy called herself a domestic engineer, doing every single thing to make a household with 3 kids and a busy father run smoothly.
Okay. I love that. Yeah. I think that all stay-at-home moms,
domestic
homemakers should take on that title.
How many skills you have to do to run a household? You have to be a maid. You have to be a project manager.
Yeah.
Big time. You have to be like a nurse.
Yeah.
You have to
problem solver. It's multitasking.
Chauffeur.
Everything. Yeah. So you're doing this while, he's bringing in the money, but you're the one that's making sure like
you're managing
everything runs smoothly.
Yes, yeah. And oftentimes, domestic engineers are the accountant. Like they are the people who like do the finances, do the bills, and make sure that things are like.
We really need to normalize like hiring managers looking outside of the box for because a lot of times women like this that come in with these long gaps, go for these project management roles, and those hiring managers need to learn.
Yep.
If they can run a successful household, they can.
If they can keep
would
3
hire a
kids.
domestic engineer to run my business.
Yeah,
for
yeah.
sure.
If they
Absolutely.
can keep the schedules of 3 children straight,
Yeah.
with like all the extracurriculars in school and everything else.
Executive assistant.
Yeah, she also served in the PTA, hosted church youth groups, and sang in the choir, practically living at First Baptist. So not only is she doing that, but she's also heavily involved in the school and the church. So she's got like
She's busy.
a full-time job and 2 part-time jobs.
Yeah.
Just doing all the stuff.
Yeah.
So they weather life together. Nancy struggled with depression from time to time and fibromyalgia. And at one point, Frank battled prostate cancer. They get through the roller coaster of life. 3 kids are raised healthy and move out of the house. They communicate through life changes like business moves or big purchases. But by now, the zazz or the spark,
Yeah,
the
the
pilot
Zatarans.
light,
Yeah.
the Zatarans is burned out. And with all the kids gone, Nancy was looking forward to this time to finally reconnect with herself and with her husband on that level for the next chapter of their life.
Uh-oh.
Frank had other plans. In 2009,
This Tom Brady motherfucker right here.
exactly.
Great.
Frank takes on a new major client that would lead to way more travel. And it's one of the only major business changes that he had not consulted her on. So he just fucking took it without talking to her about like, hey, I have this new aspect of my life that means I'm going to be gone for the majority of the year.
You know, sometimes I feel like this happens, and I don't know that it's always gendered because I feel like it could be either party in the empty nest situation where one party is like really craving that reconnection and like, you know, getting back together, and the other party is scared of it because they've not had to be alone with their partner in like a long time, and they don't know how to like do it anymore.
Interact anymore.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's got to be a big thing when your kid finally moves out of the house and you're not needed in that way anymore. It's like Nancy was looking
It's like
forward.
losing a job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was her career. Her career is over. She's basically been retired at this point with the kids healthy and out of the house. And so she's like, okay, let me reconnect with my partner. And my partner's like, you know, he is also a father. So he has some feelings. The kids are out of the house and he decides to deal with it by throwing himself into this.
Yeah, running the other way.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a huge, huge issue. He's going to be CFO for a businessman who'd made millions on defense contracts. He'd have use of this guy's private jet. It's just a huge move. So he's traveling all the time to Florida, California, Europe, and Kuwait.
I'm sorry, I'd be fucking furious.
While Nancy sits alone in their perfect house for long stretches, wondering what to do now.
Like, why can't I go with you?
Exactly.
Yeah, because unless you're taking me with you, I'm mad because I'm just like, yeah, you didn't consult me. This job is you being gone all the time.
And
like,
yeah.
And
it
not,
seems
like,
incredibly inconsiderate,
so
right?
inconsiderate.
Yeah.
And like empty nest is hard enough for people. Like I've seen it happen. Like my mom.
But to think that you were on the same page of what your plans were going to be, this is the part that's the big crux of this, is that there was no good communication between them to say like, here's my plans for the next few years. I think you got to check in with your partner.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Especially when things are changing.
Yeah, I mean, you look at like when anybody retires from a career that they're passionate about, it's a big, huge thing in life that affects people's health, their mental health, as well as their physical health. So the fact that he doesn't even consider the fact that now the kids are out of the house and she's basically retired, like to
and
just
it's
abandon
not
her
just-
in that way.
And it's not just the retirement aspect of it, which I think is a big thing. You know, like I saw my mom homeschooled my brothers. Like her life was like with them, like she was doing things with them a lot more than I think even like some other parents, because she was with them physically a lot more and like driving them places a lot more and like and that kind of thing. And so she had to completely refigure out what to do. Like, and so she had to like look into all these different things to try and figure out, okay, what am I interested in now at this season in my life? But beyond that, beyond it being a job that you are now retired from, it is also your children. So you have like a bond, a connection with them that you're also having to grapple with on an emotional level that is going to have to change.
Yeah.
And like, that's hard. So you're going through like a bunch of different things all at once that are like really hard and you have no support.
Correct.
For that.
You're doing it all on your own.
Tough. That's really
because
tough.
you can't lean on your kids at that point, because like her kids are going off to college, they're getting married, they're moving across the country, that sort of thing. And you don't want to make them reliable for your mental health.
Oh, absolutely.
Or whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
They've got to be allowed to go out into the world and explore and create their own life. So yeah, she's really just doing this by herself.
That's not all to say that like for him, if this was something that he really like wanted, if it was like a lifetime dream that was being accomplished or something, they could have probably sat down and worked that
and
out.
had a conversation,
Right.
but for him to just take it.
Yeah.
So yeah. So on one of her long stretches by herself in August of 2012, she attends a church event and then stopped by a Taco Bueno for takeout to go home and eat alone in front of the TV. She had no idea she was being followed. She pulled into the garage when she felt someone all of a sudden grab her neck from behind and demand her purse. Startled, she gave the man her steak fajitas, and when he yelled at her again, she pushed her purse at him, and that's when he shot her in the head and then ran off.
Jesus.
Oh my God.
The bullet had gone through her head, down her sinus cavity, and stopped in her right lung. She collapsed on the ground unconscious, but was able to fight her way back up to consciousness to the car to press an emergency button.
Oh my God.
When that didn't work, she drug herself into her house to call 911. And you can hear her 911 call on the Dateline where she's begging for help and begging the operator to stay on the phone with her. Police found her still conscious when they came to rescue her. They contact her children, who got in touch with Frank. He collapsed when he heard the news and caught a flight back the next morning to be at his wife's bedside. Now, police were initially sure of a robbery because there have been break-ins in the area. Carrollton's a very affluent suburb, but it's not that far. Like 100 miles away is like East Texas, where it is a very impoverished area that's ravaged by like meth, crime, all kinds of things. There's not a lot of opportunities, so it's not that far, and they have had problems like this in Carrollton and in that specific neighborhood recently. So their first indication that things were not as they seemed came from Frank's phone. Seems he'd been having an affair. Text messages and photos with a beautiful blonde woman soon led them to Suzanne Leontief, a 40-something-year-old with 2 teenage daughters. So they confirmed that he had been with her on the night of the shooting, but he had told police he was on a business trip.
Because I'm sure that's what his wife thought.
On the Dateline episode, he's like, I didn't even bring it up because I didn't connect. I didn't think that they would be interested.
Are you stupid?
Nobody would be. Why would they be interested in me having an affair?
I'm sorry. Have you not seen a single episode of Dateline? Like that
Exactly.
is the husband is the first. Like, and of course,
like, I didn't think it was important.
And the first thing they're going to ask you is, how are things in your marriage? Are you having any affairs?
Right. Exactly.
Like,
you're the spouse. Exactly.
You
and
idiot. I don't believe it. Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm so
he's
mad.
like, I didn't see why they would care. So because police were starting to look at Frank closer, he had to come clean to his family about the affair. Now, Nancy has just been shot in the head and she's in the hospital.
With a fucking bullet in her lung.
Yeah, exactly. It had gone through. She just lost her left eye.
Jesus Christ.
And now her husband is telling her that he's been having a 3-year-long
So that's a
affair.
relationship. Yeah, that's a relationship. And also, what I'm thinking now is you took this job so that you could have an excuse to be gone.
A cover, right?
Yeah.
A cover.
And so it's Nancy, and then she has 2 daughters and a son. And the 2 daughters were on this Dateline episode as well. And they had described themselves as like the Beaver Cleaver family. Like everything was perfect. They were like super religious, super involved. And they were like, could not believe that their dad was the affair type. But they're being interviewed on this Dateline episode like, Dad, I can't believe you had an affair. Like that kind of thing. Like flip about it.
Yeah.
Nancy's like destroyed.
Right. Physically.
Dude, this makes me so upset because I do oftentimes feel like moms end up in this position where I'm like, she's given her whole fucking life
with
to you.
no respect. None whatsoever. So,
oh God, oh my God.
Yeah. Just wait. Just
kids ain't loyal.
Wait. So, but a strange lead and good detective work led them on a different path away from Frank. They found Nancy's purse dumped with all of her cards and cash in it, but the only thing that had been taken out and looked at was the driver's license. And that's when they knew she was targeted specifically. It wasn't just a random break-in. Someone actually confirmed, oh yes, we shot Nancy Howard in the head.
What if they were like, shit, wrong person?
Oh, damn. And when they looked at surveillance video at her church, they found a silver car tailing her, waiting for her to get out of the church and then following her out. This led to another cop recalling a traffic stop about a month earlier, about a mile from Frank and Nancy's home, where a teenager high on meth told a wild story about being a hitman in a plot to kill a Carrollton woman. What? Police dismissed his rambling and booked him on smaller charges, but now they wanted more information about this.
Seems a little suspicious.
But when they showed Nancy the picture, she didn't identify him as the shooter. But still, they're on the hunt. They're like, we want to know more about like what you were talking about that night. And then they get a phone call from county jail, and we get to meet Billy Earl Johnson. Oof. And he had a story to tell for the right price. Billy lived in East Texas, about 100 miles away, and was a career criminal who loved motorcycles and meth. He wanted, you know, you gotta have hobbies.
Yeah.
It's good to have hobbies.
He and his 3 teeth were like.
I also feel like motorcycles and meth are not a good combination.
No,
like, I'm like,
it sounds
harder,
at the
faster,
same time.
stronger.
So he wanted favors and out of jail, and then he'd tell them all about this murder and who did it. They're like, well, or attempted murder. And it involves over a dozen people for the past 3 years.
Why are you telling so many people?
Mm-hmm. Oh, just wait. He said that in 2009, he received a phone call from a man named John who offered him a job to kill Nancy Howard. Billy said he never planned to go through with it. He just wanted to string this guy along for money. And boy, howdy did they. First, Billy was paid $60,000 with a photo of Nancy and told to make it look like an accident.
$60K, wow. I feel like so often we hear these stories and they're like, I did it for $5,000.
Yeah, like, just wait. He quickly blew through the money on drugs, paying for dinner and drinks with his friends.
That's too much math.
$60,000 is so much
so much math.
In a lump sum.
In a lump sum in
Honey,
cash.
that's like cocaine money. That's not meth money.
Oh, when
yeah.
You don't need to do meth. You could get the good shit.
Get the good.
When he was arrested shortly after for possession, what little left of the cash was confiscated by the cops. So he calls John and told him he needed more money, so then he got another $35K.
No, sir.
Blew through that and got arrested again.
It's time to find a new hitman. What are you honestly, this is just financially irresponsible.
He's just officially made more than I make it in my annual salary.
Oh, no, his close family and friends, lovingly referred to by law enforcement as the Hee-Haw Gang.
Sorry.
Also started to play along. Everyone in this crew knew if you called Mr. John and said you could kill this Nancy woman, you could get thousands of dollars. And so they fucking made it rain. They bought motorcycles, new cars, 4-wheelers, assault rifles, copious amounts of meth and cocaine. Every fucking day was like Christmas for this impoverished area, with everyone wanting a piece of the action.
Gang. What? I can't.
So many people got involved and were paid hundreds of thousands of dollars total.
What the fuck is wrong with John? He's so
John.
stupid.
Yeah,
This
again,
motherfucker is so stupid.
not managing your finances well.
That's what you get when you have a wife
Who does everything for you? That's right.
They estimate that he ends up paying around $1.8 million
Shut
in
your
cash.
fucking mouth. And
Plus-
then imagine getting the phone call that she's like alive and in the hospital.
Plus another fucking $1 million in bail bonds, because anytime they got arrested and went to jail, they'd call John to bail them out.
This dumb motherfucker right here.
And then also, every time they got arrested, if he wasn't quick enough with the bail money, they would tell officers or even at one point FBI agents about Mr. John and his plot, but no one believed them.
Look, believes these two-toothed meth heads. The Hee-Haw gang.
No one believed the Hee-Haw gang at all.
I want to make it very clear. We know.
Whistling through their teeth. Where's this guy?
This thing that happened to Nancy is horrible.
Yeah.
And we are not laughing at that. We are laughing at the stupidity of these criminals.
It really is.
It's not even the criminal. It's John.
Like a fucking,
he's a criminal.
It's a fucking Coen Brothers movie. Am I right?
God,
this is like some fucking Fargo
it's a farce.
shit.
Like this is truly like they're it's like a Scooby-Doo episode. They're just like opening doors and fucking
yeah, it's exactly. So yeah, over a dozen people that were closely connected with Billy Earl, like his nephews or his people he was dating.
I'm sorry.
Billy Earl.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I need to.
Yes.
I got to qualify that real quick.
Part of the Hee-Haw gang.
He's the leader of the Hee-Haw gang. So, yeah, I mean, they're all involved. They're extorting money and going ham. But by now, over 2 years later, John's starting to get a little harder to be put off.
Oh, okay. Wow.
I mean, at one point,
I've had enough.
At one point,
putting my foot down.
One chick calls him, gets money from him to kill Nancy. And then blows through that money, and then a couple days later dyes her hair black, goes back to him. He's like, I'm that person's sister. I need the money and I'll do it. So she got paid.
No.
This is so embarrassing for John.
Honestly.
John. 3 years?
So when Billy gets arrested in 2012 on some charge, on a recorded phone call, John says, finally, he's like, I'm not going to pay your bond. I gave money to Michael to finish the job. And that's what set things in motion for one of Billy's nephew's former cellmate, Michael Lawrence, to finally finish the job.
Nephew's former cellmate.
Yeah.
Okay.
Great.
Billy Earl.
I mean,
Billy Earl's nephews.
You really have to read, and the link will be up in our on our website. The article from D Magazine does such a good job of detailing a lot more about the Hee-Haw gang and the number of people that were involved over the years and how many times they got money from. Like I'm saying, it's like almost $3 million total. And they just plan to just keep stringing him along.
Can I also
because
just
he's
say,
just like an ATM for these guys.
Yeah.
You
Imagine having $3 million that you're like, you can just
blow it,
throw away. Like what? Like you're spending $3 million on nothing. Like
Nothing.
You're just in the air. Poof, it's gone. Imagine having that kind of like expendable income. Like just. Wow.
So police are they're like, okay, great story. We're buying it now. So they're rounding up all the members of the Hee-Haw game. They're all telling the same story. Now, what's worse is there are receipts that they kept for insurance in case something went wrong. And there's a photo.
So they might be meth addicts, but they are
masterminds. They're smarter
than John by a long shot. If only they'd applied that to something else, because I'm like, they're smart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This does remind me of the like wacky movie that was like Zach Galifianakis was in. And he was like a criminal or whatever. He robbed this bank with like a...
Oh, I don't know. I never saw that one.
I remember.
It's like that kind of wacky hijink.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
Where you're like, how are you not getting caught immediately? But so they look, and like several of them had sent this photo of like they'd taken photos of John and then sent it to other people as like insurance. Like something happens, like I got this in my fucking back pocket.
Like he's, oh God, like not wearing a mask or nothing.
So, and I'm sure you've probably already guessed it. Mr. John is actually John Franklin Howard.
He used his real fucking name, you
Nancy's
idiot.
husband.
Oh my God. I am appalled. This man has probably, what kind of like security clearance did he have? He worked in like what?
He was a CFO. Like he wasn't doing defense contracts with the government or anything like that. But yeah.
Your title is Chief Financial Officer.
Yeah.
I need to have a little conversation
I need to take a look at the books because see, Frank had been living it up out of town. One trip to Lake Tahoe in 2009 when he met his mistress, Suzanne Leontief. She's going through a divorce. Frank said his marriage wasn't happy either. They hit it off. They go to dinner. He invites her to Reno the next weekend. There's soon a serious item. He is seeing her every couple weeks and lavishing her with gifts and money. Bought her a $900,000 house,
Christ.
a boat, a condo in Tahoe, paid $500,000 for her daughter's college, fancy trips to the Bahamas, San Francisco, $700,000 in cash, additional investments and IRAs, and he even put her on the payroll of his client's business.
Damn.
All while his fucking wife is sitting
Taco Bueno
in front of the TV by herself.
You.
I know. I'm fiery hot with anger at this.
Fuck you.
God, what a piece of trash.
But of course,
But he makes it to church every Sunday, so
of course,
it's fine. Don't worry about it.
But of course, all Suzanne wanted was for him to divorce Nancy so that they could really be together. But
And why can't
something
he?
always came up.
And why doesn't he?
just
Like, that's the thing. Like,
divorce
just
her?
because I actually know. I know why. It's because like he wants to maintain that squeaky clean fucking image of this like Leave It to Beaver family where they go to church every Sunday and he is the perfect stay-at-home wife, you know, like that's and the 3 kids. That's why he's not divorcing his wife because he doesn't want to fuck up his own image. Like I truly think that that's why.
It's probably a big reason, but when she finally issues the ultimatum, that's when he had paid somebody other than Billy Earl to finish the job, which of course they didn't because she survived.
Because again, because he doesn't want to go through a divorce and have to give her any money too is probably part of it. But he's throwing away millions of dollars on failed assassination attempts.
When you add that plus all the gifts that he's getting, I mean, we're talking like $6 million at this point.
Wow.
So when he went on
years.
trial in 2014, the prosecution meticulously presents all the testimony and evidence, getting like all of the hee-haw gang in to testify, while the defense basically puts on this classist defense, basically saying
You can't trust
if they're
them,
in
they're
an
poor.
orange jumpsuit, you can't trust anything that they say.
course.
Is that what they said?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. That was word for word. That's what they said.
Their
Right.
defense was that he was being blackmailed. And it's like, okay, blackmailed for what? Why would he pay that much money? What did he do then to be blackmailed for?
Do you have an answer?
Anyways, it only took 90 minutes for the jury to convict him to life in
Still
prison.
feels too long.
And his daughters are still just like, LOL, daddy. Really?
His daughters, Nancy had to go to the courtroom and sit on the prosecution side, and her daughters and son sat behind.
Shut your fucking mouth.
father.
Oh my God, I'm
And
so...
on the Dateline episode, they like left the trial during like evidence portions, and they refused to believe
Christina,
that their father is behind this.
furious.
I'm never having kids.
No,
I'm done. These ungrateful pieces
Kids
of shit
are
right here.
awful.
I'm like,
And I
what
found
the fuck?
I found the oldest daughter's
No, you didn't.
Twitter
No, you did not.
and her blogs, and I read through all of
I'm so mad.
real girl boss energy coming
Great.
from her. Real like, and listen,
Expect a hey hun in your inbox any day now.
have not gone through a traumatic experience like that, and I know it has to be a big deal, like coming to grips with the fact that your father is a piece of shit.
But that's your mom.
Yeah.
That's your mom. It's not like your father was accused of doing this to his mistress or to someone else, which would be bad enough. It still makes your father a fucking criminal. But that is your mother. Like if I had to look at my mom in the hospital with
And
like
it
her
really
eye is gone, like
broke Nancy in the courtroom, like the fact that she lost everything.
Yeah.
Everything.
An eye.
She loved Frank. She had been planning to spend the rest of her life with him, the second chapter of her life, and everything. She sat. Luckily, she had friends from church and other family members that stood and supported her or whatever. But the fact that her
fucking God.
children were
Honestly,
on the
fuck
other
you.
side of the courtroom supporting and still supporting and believing in their dad's innocence is ridiculous. When you look at all of the
amount of
evidence, they have a fucking picture of him meeting with these people, and they're
I've
like,
never been more mad. I'm so
I know.
mad.
I know.
It just poor Nancy.
Yeah.
Nancy, Do you need a surrogate daughter?
I'll
there
be your
for you.
daughter.
I'll call you on Christmas.
I'm your daughter now.
Yeah, I'm your daughter now.
Oh, so yeah, it took them 90 minutes to convict. And afterwards, it would come out that over the years, he had embezzled tens of millions of dollars from his clients, which is why divorce was never an option.
Because they go through his financial records.
Correct. And they would discover that crime. Because yeah, a criminal is a criminal. And it's also why he was willing to throw so much money at the Hee Haw gang. Because when it's not your money, it's a lot easier to throw around.
That's right.
You know? So perhaps the most tragic thing for me, again, is seeing how this woman who had devoted her life to her family watched as her children sat behind their piece of shit father at the trial. To date, their relationship is strained because the children refused to believe their father was involved at all.
I was shot in the face.
And that he was merely being blackmailed. Let this sink in. After his arrest, he was bonded out for $1 million because the entire Carrollton community refused to believe that this man of such high standing could have done anything wrong. So he bonded out for $1 million and then walked his youngest daughter down the aisle of her wedding while her mother had to sit there and take it.
I'm disgusted. I'm really disgusted.
Wow.
And I truly, you know, there's this saying, I was just talking about this with Anthony where I was just like, yeah, you know what? I think I might want to be a parent if I could be a dad.
Ooh, isn't that the truth?
Honestly.
You know, because it's just like the pressure and the expectations that we put on mothers. They have to be saintly. They have to be perfect. Because I bet you, and I don't know these kids, but I bet you if the situation was reversed and they had found out that their mom had been having a 3-year fucking affair,
to throw her under the bus, I'm sure.
I bet you it would be different. But because it's daddy, it's fucking different. And I don't know them, so maybe that's not the case. Maybe they would be equally they'd feel the same way. But it kind of fucking doesn't feel like it. Because that's your mom, and how low do you have to think about your mother to not even understand that this makes her uncomfortable, even that this would make her uncomfortable, even if you don't want to believe that your dad did this thing. You have no regard for your mother's feelings or the fact that she might need support as a human being.
For the amount of things that she has done for you over the years to make your fucking life comfortable. It makes me think that they were more interested in daddy's money. You know what I mean? So for her part, Nancy, who now goes by her maiden name, Nancy Shore, after divorcing Frank, has done her best to move on. I believe she's an administrative assistant now. She has even given interviews saying that she has forgiven Frank for his part in the crime.
She's too good for that.
Better person than me. Yeah.
That is the tainted love story of Nancy Shore.
Well, Christina, my face is on fire. I'm so
Aren't you? That
mad.
made me so angry. And watching the Dateline, it was really, really difficult. It's hard
them
to have
kids.
empathy.
Yeah.
I'm just I don't understand how I do get it that it's your family member and stuff, but your,
so is your
unwillingness to look at the evidence and to just close wall off and not.
Your mom is your family member too. Am
Exactly.
I wrong?
Well, that's the thing. That's exactly it. Is that look, man, I understand having a difficult time with that. It is traumatic. It is hard. It is watching your family fall apart. It is losing a parent to prison for life.
It's
that
having to rewrite a lot of things from your childhood and identity and family, but to just close off the victim of the crime, who is your mother.
It's not like this happened to a stranger, which is equally awful, but still. I feel like you can put walls up and you can dissociate and you can compartmentalize if it's somebody you don't know, right? But your mom, and maybe you have a complicated relationship with your mom, but that's still somebody. I can't imagine that, and I just feel so horrible for Nancy, and I would be like, look, what kids?
Yeah, she has written a book. Which you can find the information about it on that D Magazine article. It's a journey back to shore, because shore is her. The shooting of Nancy Howard, A Journey Back to Shore is what it's called. And so, if you want to go, you can find it on Amazon and you can support her and buy her book. But it just, for me, it made me think as much as I got engaged last week, I'm I never want to be somebody that's completely consumed with other people's happiness.
That's right.
I always want to remember what not that I'm like, I know what I want to do or whatever, and like, fuck them kids or anything, but I think that it's important to maintain your sense of self, because at the end of the day, yourself is all you got.
That's what you're left with.
Yeah.
Truly, and I think like supporting each other's dreams and having a partner and all of that stuff is so valuable. But also I think that this idea that once you're in, you're locked in for life, and it doesn't matter like how you're treated or anything else is so toxic. I truly believe it's so fucking toxic to have that mentality. It's like, no, you are there to be a partner to someone, and they're there to be a partner to you. And if they don't give a fuck about your happiness, and you are putting all of this stuff into their happiness, then that's not a partnership. That's not a marriage.
You're going to be better off by yourself. Exactly.
Yeah, no, like just.
Yeah. I was like, as soon as I saw that dateline, I was like heated. I was like, I have to do this Tainted Love. It's important to me. So
yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Whoo. So changing gears, what are you guys watching and or reading this week?
So I have started watching the new season of Called Midwife.
Nice.
Love it. Everybody knows. Every time there's a new season, I feel like I have to talk about it because I just love that show so much.
Reminder.
If there's ever a moment when I'm just like, I just need something to make me feel good. I also just saw that Great British Bake Off is back.
Yep.
What?
Yes, I haven't started watching it yet, but those are the things where I'm just like, I can put it on. I know that even if there are rocky moments, we're going to feel good at the end.
It's going to be okay. We're going to get to watch
British
people
Bake
make
Off,
sponge.
Yeah. British Bake Off is fall for me, right?
Yeah,
like it's fall is
yeah,
happening.
you're getting into a cozy place where you're like, I can start using my oven because it's not 175 degrees outside. So yes, I'm super stoked to start that. And then I have been reading House on the Cerulean Sea, which was a book that Cassie lent to me, and I am really enjoying it. I actually think if you are, the writing style is so like quirky and silly, but so well written that to me, I almost feel like if you were a fan of Harry Potter as a kid, you might enjoy House on the Cerulean Sea as an adult. Like it's definitely made for adults, but it's like, it's kind of got that same silly
vibe,
energy. Yeah. Like the dialogue is very like,
Cassie's
great,
winning with
dude.
the book Rex because I finished Rose Code and I was really smitten with that book. It's really, really good. Definitely
I'm so
recommend
glad you liked it.
picking that up.
How many times did you cry?
Oh, I sent you a picture. I cried so hard twice during the book. So any fans of historical fiction, when you're looking at like World War II, Bletchley Park, Code Breakers, women and friendship and, true love and adventure, it's great.
If you want to make Christina cry, just have a book that's about like female friendship or a movie, any piece of media that's just like friends, and you'll get like
it's like three girl best friends.
Yeah. You'll get like a 1 a.m. text message that's just like, I just really love you guys. I feel like I haven't told you in a while.
Just want to make sure you know. But other than that, I really haven't been watching. I've really actually enjoyed the new Lord of the Rings that's on.
I saw the first episode.
Rings of Power. I know people are all in their feels about
black hobbits. How dare they?
Color portraying people in high fantasy stuff, but it really is so stupid.
It's a real talk right now because Game of Thrones too, and Ariel, Black Ariel is a real problem.
I'm sorry, we're talking about a genre called fantasy.
Well, and also if that's the biggest problem that you have in your day, like go fuck yourself. Honestly,
maybe watch the news once.
Honestly, there's more stuff going on in the world. Who fucking cares? But I've really enjoyed it. House of Dragon has been fine too, but yeah, I'm like my nerd self has felt very satisfied.
Well, you're watching
lately.
that from Matt Smith. Let's be.
Oh my! Am I really? Yes, I might, and I'm probably gonna rewatch The Crown too, getting ready for that. But yeah, Matt Smith is Crown.
Yeah. I am watching a show on Amazon because I was able to download it for our flight called Blood and Treasure, and
sounds like you.
It is. It's very me. It is. It's very Indiana Jones and Lost Treasure and shit like that. And it's not. Here's what I'll say. It is. It is exactly right for me. Like it's the kind of campy treasure chasing kind of action things that I like. I am not watching it because it's well acted.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh wait, I thought that this was like a documentary. It's not.
Oh no.
Oh, it's a scripted show.
Yeah, scripted
okay.
show. And it's like a 2019 season, and then there's like nothing. And apparently, just now 2022, they have a new season coming out. And so I'm just like,
you're like, it's fine.
It scratches like a good itch of. I've been so busy of like with catching up on work, coming back from vacation, catching up on work, catching up on school stuff, like and just like
mindless
one of those things
stuff is fine.
Perfect for the end of the night. Where I'm like,
Sometimes you just want something on in the background while you like scroll on your phone or something.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, cool. If you guys have something that we should watch or read, if you have a terrible date story, if you want tickets to our live show, go to our one-stop shop of a website. It's myworstdatepodcast.com. And we love you so much.
Cheers.